all proportions stop. Shot! Scores! Coburg wins the RBC Cup!
This portion of the OJ Today is brought to you by Instat, the official analytics supplier to the OJHL. What's going on, everyone? This is the OJ Today. I'm Alex Bastyovanszky. Great to see you again. Tons to get caught up on this week's show. It is officially crunch time in the OJHL as some teams are jockeying for playoff position while others are in a life and death struggle just to make the postseason. Now, two of the Southeast Conference's front runners squared off last weekend when Haliburton visited Wellington.
And again, it feels like it's going to be one of those nights where the time just goes off a little too much for the Dukes as they try to get back in this one. There's a pass out front. Connor Hunt scores. David Campbell hooks it out in front, and Hunt converts.
Connor Hunt tying the game up for Wellington in the second period, making it 1-1. In the third, it was like the Twilight Zone. Wellington reeled off 5 straight unanswered goals, blowing open what was a tight defensive contest up until that point. The score is just bizarre. What happened to Haliburton? The Dukes take down the Huskies 6-1. First place Toronto in Trenton to take on the Golden Hawks. Pick it up in the second. Austin Durazio puts the home side up 3-2. Late in the period, however, the JRCs with the sweet passing here. Tic-tac-toe, Matt Wild, the finish. That tied it up. This one needed overtime.
As Robinson now less than 2 minutes left in this overtime period. Here comes Robinson, holding on to it, shot on, scores! 5-hole through Norton, and Robinson gets the overtime winner in this one.
Lucas Robinson, the hero for the Jayhawks, as the fans head home happy. 4-3 the final. Georgetown has been white hot lately. Winners of 9 of its last 10. It hosted Aurora. Scoreless until the second period. Brandon Kakai with the snipe. G-Town had itself a 1-0 lead off Brandon's 29th of the season. Then this.
Reese Chittington. Fernese to Reese Chittington. Reese Chittington scores!
Chittenden with a gorgeous strike. In the third, Noah Cochrane is allowed just too much time and space. He scores. Georgetown continuing to roll right along the Raiders. Blanked the Tigers 4-0 in this one. A huge Northwest tilt as Collingwood hosted Burlington. Late in the first, Owen Sclesisi getting sprung on the breakaway, off the iron and in. Wonder if he called the bank shot, and the home side leads 1-0. In the second, Noah Pack is called on for the heroics once again, absolutely robbing the Cougars of a sure goal. This is why Noah is heading to Yale next fall. Going back the other way, Sean Clark dropping for Marcus Lougheed. He tickles the twine, and Collingwood just continues to show its dominance. They're now 10 points up on the next best team in the Northwest. 4-1 the final. Certain games will haunt your dreams. This is one of those games for Coburg. They were up 3-1 on North York in the third, but then Noah Tyrell pulls the trigger to make it a 3-2 game. Kevin Dean, take it away.
Cini back out to Terrell. Terrell goes wide. Now he finds his man. Noble goes low, left right corner. Here's a chance to tie the score! Rangers tie it with 1:15 remaining here in the third period.
Yep, a game that Coburg just couldn't close out. North York showing heart to end up tied 3-3. Milton hosted Stouffville. They led 2-0 at one point in the first, but Stouffville scored 3 straight. Nathan Toohey with the seeing eye point shot right there to put the Spirit up 3-2. No scoring again until the third period. Aiden Hughes at the side of the net, catching the keeper looking the wrong way. It's tied up 3-3. This one needed overtime to decide things.
Try another whack at it, but Gennaro just covered it up in time.
Hughes trying to win the draw. He goes it forward. Hughes scores! Give me the doctor! The madhouse is out of control! Aiden Hughes, his second goal of the game, wins it in 3-on-3 overtime!
What hasn't Hughes done for the Menace this season? He nabs the OT winner there, and Milton takes it 4-3. Players of the Month were announced, brought to you by Warrior, the official hard goods supplier to the OJHL. In the Northwest, it was Jack Richard, and this guy had a month. Unbelievable. 20 points in just 9 games, 12 goals, 8 assists for the captain of the Burlington Cougars. In the Southeast, Tyler Fukakusa, incredible month as well. Fukakusa with 17 points. He is about to become the first OJHL player to hit 100 points in a season since Andrew Petrucci in 2018. And your goalie, Noah Pack, great stats, but also he was the top goaltender at the All-Star Skills competition as well. 8-1, 1.45 goals against average, and .934 save percentage for the month. This portion of the OJ Today is brought to you by NutriFarms, the title sponsor of the OJHL's Championship Series. You know, it's been a tough campaign so far for the Mississauga Chargers, as they've sat close to the basement in the Southeast for most of the season. But one significant bright spot has been the play of Jack Ziliado, who leads the team in scoring by a wide margin and has secured a scholarship to RPI. Here's more on what makes the 17-year-old's game so special.
Finding iron here early on in the penalty kill. Cross ice pass. Look at Ziliado go. He scores. What a move.
This year has been the coming out party for Mississauga Chargers forward Jack Ziliado. In his second OJHL season, the 17-year-old leads his team in scoring and was recently listed on the NHL's midterm draft rankings. Chargers head coach Joe Oshkorak, who's also a scout for the OHL's Oshawa Generals, feels Jack came into this season with something to prove.
He really worked hard over the summer, and I think he was really motivated. Alex, we drafted him in Oshawa and he didn't make the team, and I thought he was going to. He didn't have a very good camp, and he would acknowledge that.
Yeah, I tried to come in this year, obviously not making the OHL, so I try to come and get a D1 scholarship. So I know you need to produce, and you also need to do all the little things right. So I just tried every day, come in and work hard, give everything I got to try to get one.
Sending it in here, Ziliado picks the corner. What a shot from Jack Ziliado.
Jack can play in both ends of the rink. He's getting a little bit better in his D zone. That was a little bit lax, but young players are like that. But, he sniffs the puck out, and he's got really high hockey IQ. He skates pretty well, and he's a hard worker, which is the main thing, Alex. And that rubs off on the rest of our guys. And more importantly, he's a really good teammate. Doesn't say a lot, but, when he does talk, people do listen.
I try to be a two-way forward, so good in D zone, O zone. And I really try to make my teammates better, being a playmaker or whatever. And, I think I play physical when I want to, and I got a good shot so I can score. D-zone's really what can separate you. And next level, maybe not getting the amount of ice time you get here. You need to be good in your D-zone so your coach can trust you. So I just try to, win my draws, stay on my assignments, and try not to get scored on that many times.
Ziliado is averaging around a point per game for the Chargers, and his play caught the attention of many NCAA schools. Joe Oshkorak played junior hockey with current RPI head coach Dave Smith and couldn't speak highly enough of his star player. Smith listened, and Ziliado inked a scholarship with the Engineers, where he'll head in the fall of 2024.
RPI, you get a degree from there, Alex. You're going to be sad if you don't play professional hockey, and we're all really proud of him and happy for him for sure.
One of the reasons I chose RPI is obviously their hockey, but their academics are good as well. So just go there for 4 years and then just kind of see what happens. Obviously, the NHL is where I want to go, but I think NCAA is going to give me a lot of options in the future, just Europe or wherever it is, but I think it's a good choice.
Here's Michael D'Souza. Just got it over the line. Trailing, Ziliado scores! He's on the Central scouting list for a reason.
Okay, some big league news to tell you about. The Oakville Blades recently submitted a bid to host the 2024 Centennial Cup. Hockey Canada is expected to make an announcement on the winning bid in March. And according to Blades head coach GM Scott McCrory, the bid process was intensive.
It's a pretty extensive procedure. We have a committee of 14 people. We had 2 creative people, and one not being me, on it to help create 88 pages for Hockey Canada, the CJHL bid. So it's a big process from hotels, transportation, food, logistics of the arena. It's pretty. We got a lot of support from the town, and Premier Ford has now stepped up. Neil Lumsden, who's the tourism and sports minister for Ontario, stepped up. Federal ministers are now stepping up too, so it's real good.
No doubt a winning bid by the Blades would mean a lot to the organization as well as the town of Oakville.
For us as an organization, we're one of the marquee organizations because of our facility and our history, that getting an opportunity to showcase the town of Oakville, which is growing a huge multicultural cultural city. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, just not for the players, but the families that come and the families that live in Oakville.
Hey, the Blades would do an outstanding job. Okay, the latest CJHL rankings, 4 teams making the cut from the OJ, the JRCs, Collingwood Blues, Georgetown, and Halliburton, with Cobourg and Wellington getting honorable mentions. And just a reminder to stay up to date with everything in the league, the latest news, statistics, standings, and great feature stories by our OJHL writers. Head to the league's website, ojhl.ca. This portion of the OJ Today is brought to you by Hockey TV, the official webcaster of the Ontario Junior Hockey League. To say that Luke Pearson comes from good stock would be an understatement. After all, his father, Rob, is the Pickering Panthers head coach and, was a former first-round draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But Luke is forging his own path as a standout goalkeeper south of the border with the Yale Bulldogs, and he's the focus of this month's Alumni feature.
At the point, cycles with Chris. Monroe, cross ice shot, saved by Pearson! Put that feather in your cap.
Luke Pearson has been on fire this season with the Yale Bulldogs, and he was recently named co-goaltender of the week in the ECAC. His path to the NCAA began in the OJHL with the Whitby Fury. Through 2 seasons, Pearson was one of the top goaltenders in the league, showing the confidence of a veteran despite being relatively young.
Yeah, it was a big starting point for me, especially going the NCAA route. Having the opportunity to play against, I was 16 years old when I joined the league, and you'd be facing 20-year-olds that had a good stint in the OHL or have been playing in the OJ for years at that point. So being able to learn from those guys, especially like your captains, your assistant captains, as well as just the veterans on your team, that can give you the insight that's really needed as a 16-year-old kid, really. It's a big part of the development process, and like being able to help you get to the spot you need to be at. Yeah, I look back at Whitby and I really cherish those memories I made.
While in Whitby, Pearson was coached by Father Rob, a former NHLer and the current OJHL Coach of the Year with the Pickering Panthers. While it was a great experience, the two had a rule to ensure that Rob was still dad first and not coach away from the rink.
We had a rule in our car where it was, the first 5 minutes we'll talk about the game, and then after that, then he just becomes my dad, not my coach. So that was a really, really big thing for us, is setting that standard where I wasn't going home and going oh great, my coach is going to start yelling at me when I get back after giving a 5 tonight. It was something something I'm definitely going to look back on, and something I cherish for sure.
Luke played 2 additional seasons in the BCHL after his time in Whitby, and as mentioned, is now starring south of the border at one of the top schools on the planet.
Committing here, it was a dream come true, and it's blown my expectations away. The classes here are top notch. I mean, the professors you're learning from, the people you surround yourself with, the coaching staff is phenomenal. The amount of pre-game video and pre-scouts that go into everything, or preparation for practice, it really is at like a different level. It's something I'll never forget for the rest of my life, for sure. It's really incredible.
Luke still follows the OJHL closely as a league alumnus, and with dad coaching in Pickering, he tunes into games. When the Panthers went on their Buckland Cup winning run last season, Luke stayed as close to the action as he could.
My mom actually came down and visited during that run when they ended up winning the OJHL championship. So when they were playing the finals, I was actually with my mom in like their hotel when she came and visited, and we were watching the game together. And I honestly keep up with a good amount of games. You know, with Pickering, I'll keep up with the scores, and you don't really leave the league behind. It's something you keep up with, whether it's on Twitter, catching some late night scores being posted, or seeing the standings, things like that.
Cross ice shot saved by Pearson as he makes the nifty save.
Luke's having such a great season. More alumni news to tell you about. Jack Ricketts, who was outstanding for the Oakville Blades, is now with the Holy Cross Crusaders in the NCAA. He was named AHA Player of the Week. And Dalton Bancroft, who captained the Trenton Golden Hawks last season, was named ECAC Rookie of the Week, 3 goals in 2 games. That is Dalton's actually the 3rd time this season that he has been named ECAC Rookie of the Week. What a season he's been having. Okay, the next CHCH game of the week is going to be a good one. The Collingwood Blues, who currently lead the Northwest, are going to be hosting Aiden Hughes and the Milton Menace, 2 high-powered teams from 2 towns that love their junior hockey. Expect more than a few Milton fans to make the trip north to the glorious Eddie Bush Memorial Arena in Collingwood. Here you go, live on CHCH television, Saturday, March 4th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Collingwood taking on Milton from the Eddie Bush Memorial Arena.
Look at this shit, though. Was that any good? They score! What a goal!
Crunched up to the ice!
They're scored with that any good. Oh, Roma highlight film. He shoots. Oh, what a save!
2 seconds to go in for the score! Oh my! Oh my!
This portion of the OJ Today is brought to you by Troy Hockey, the official jersey of the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Okay, for our 3-team focus this week, we look at 2 squads building for next year and one that's put itself in playoff position. We're checking out the Mississauga Chargers, Markham Royals, and the Oakville Blades. Now, the Blades find themselves in an unfamiliar position as the traditional powerhouse is outside the postseason picture in the Northwest. But Coach Scott McCrory is looking to the future and feels the team is already trending in the right direction.
We took the approach where let's build for the future, and we've gone with 14 17-year-olds and a 16-year-old building for that future. We just finished our bid for the National Junior Championship for 2024 in May. So we've been progressing. Had a little slow start, but the last 10 games were 500, and kids are playing really well. They bought into the system.
Goalkeeper Gavin McCarthy has kept the Blades in many games this year. The better the competition, the more he steps up.
Gavin McCarthy's our 19-year-old goalie. We got him from Timmins. A couple weeks ago, he stopped 60 shots on a 2-1 victory. He's been our MVP. I was kind of blown away that he wasn't on the All-Star team, but he should have been. I voted for him for goalie of the month. He's our captain unofficially, but he's been unbelievable for us.
The playoff drought will continue this season for the Mississauga Chargers, who currently sit last in the Southeast. For head coach Joe Washkarak, it wasn't entirely unexpected, as they've got one of the youngest lineups in the league.
Yeah, like obviously when you look at our win-loss record, Alex, it's been rough. But, going into the season, we have 18 rookies on our team. And, as I said earlier, like this is a really, really, really good league. We're in a really tough division with, junior Canadians, 2 or 3 in the country. Halliburton's got a great team. Wellington, Trenton, the list goes on.
But there's positives to be taken away from the tough season. We talked extensively this week about the play of forward Jack Ziliado, who's headed to RPI on a scholarship in the fall of 2024. And Washkarak feels many of his young teammates have stepped up.
Ryan Scapp, his line mate's been a guy that's really come on. Like he's not a point a game guy, but he's really played well for me. And I think on the back end, we have Nick Townsend that's really played well for me, and he's getting some college looks now. And we have an 06, one of our draft picks, Lucas Rodriguez, that is a signed player with the Generals. They signed him this year before. They sent him back to me, and he's a guy that'll probably play in Oshawa next year. So I'm happy with our younger guys, and we just have to preach patience here, Alex.
What an up and down campaign it's been for the Markham Royals. They started the season on fire, and then injuries decimated their roster, causing them to lose several top players. They entered the weekend, however, having won 5 of 6, and Coach Mike Galati feels they've turned a corner.
We're kind of settling in and finding our game back, and we've had a real good stretch since the break. I think we needed the break, the Christmas break, just to heal and guys were running on fumes. Credit to our guys, they've stuck with it, and they're being rewarded now with some wins. Yeah, McKay Hayes has been, he's been real good. I think, we knew what we were getting when we acquired him in the off season, and again, since the break here, he's taken his game to another level. He's like a man amongst boys here on a lot of nights, and he's been better defensively, and he's been a leader, and it's nice to see.
Okay, the scoring leaders, top 5, Tyler Fukakusa leading the way with 94 points, followed by Matt Wild, Ty Collins, Reese Chittenden of Georgetown, and Jack Richard of the Burlington Cougars. Plays of the month now brought to you by Monkey Sports, the retailer of choice of the OJHL.
Here's Buziel. Buziel with Hughes. Buziel across. He scores! It's over in overtime. Team Northwest has won.
Broken up and over the line now. In over is Gagne. Pass in front. What a save by Pack. Walker alone in front. Pack just slides over, takes that away.
Kusu bounced back up. Now the second line on. Centering try. Van Wheelie scores! Connor Van Wheelie!
Face off won by Langell. Richard! And he scores! Captain Jack Richard! Reese Chiddington. That for Naves to Reese Chiddington! Reese Chiddington scores!
Hughes trying to win the draw. He goes it forward. Hughes scores! Off the stick, and here's a turnover. Campbell rolls it in front with the backhand through the leg. Scores!
26th of the year, and Morbin stopped it. Here's another chance. Streetsy's in with Patterson. Oh, and Morrow got across on that. You have got to be joking. What a save. Holy smokes.
And that is going to wrap up this week's show. But just a reminder, as we wind down the regular season and head into the playoffs, the way to stay up to date with everything in the OJHL is to head to the league's official social media outlets. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.